Love, in its truest form, rarely announces itself with noise. It does not always arrive wrapped in grand confessions or dramatic declarations. Often, it reveals itself in subtleties, in presence, in restraint, in consistency. A man who is deeply in love does not merely speak it, he embodies it. Watch how he positions himself in your life. A man in love makes space for you without being asked. You are not an afterthought squeezed into the margins of his day. You are considered in his plans, in his decisions, in the architecture of his future. Even in silence, he rearranges his world so that it includes you. This inclusion is not performative, it is instinctive. Notice his attention. When a man loves you, his awareness sharpens. He remembers the small details, how you take your tea, the story about your childhood fear, the dream you once whispered when you thought no one was listening. Attention is devotion in its quietest form. Where his focus rests, there his heart resides. Observe his protection, not control, but protection. There is a difference. Control seeks to limit you. Love seeks to shield you. He stands beside you in difficult moments. He defends your dignity when you are not present. His loyalty is not loud, but it is firm. You feel safe, not because he dominates the world, but because he refuses to let the world diminish you. Consistency is another silent confession. Infatuation fluctuates, love stabilizes. If his behavior aligns with his values day after day, if his care does not evaporate when circumstances change, then you are witnessing something deeper than passion. A man in love does not disappear when things become inconvenient. He leans in. There is also reverence in the way he handles your vulnerability. When you reveal your insecurities, your scars, your unpolished edges, he does not weaponize them. He holds them carefully. Love recognizes the sacredness of another person's inner world. If he treats your openness as something precious rather than exploitable, his silence is already speaking. And finally, watch his growth. A man in love evolves, not because you demand it, but because love awakens responsibility within him. He seeks to become steadier, wiser, more grounded. He understands that love is not merely a feeling, it is a commitment to becoming someone worthy of the heart he holds. Words can be persuasive, gestures can be staged, but patterns do not lie. Over time, his actions will form a language. And if you learn to read that language, you will see that the deepest love is often the quietest. It is not shouted across rooms. It is proven in presence, in patience, and in unwavering alignment between who he says he is and how he shows up for you. Love spoken is beautiful. Love demonstrated is undeniable. When a man is truly in love with you, he does not treat you like a temporary guest in his world. He does not keep you standing at the door of his life waiting for permission to enter. Instead, it quietly begins rearranging the structure of his days so that you fit naturally within them. This is not something he announces. He does not say, "Look how much space I'm making for you." You simply begin to notice that you are there, woven into his routine, considered in his decisions, present in his future thinking. You see it in the way he consults you before making plans that affect both of you. You hear it when he speaks about next month, next year, or even next weekend, and your presence is assumed rather than questioned. You are not a possibility he is testing. You are a reality he is integrating. He does not compartmentalize you, keeping you separate from his friends, his ambitions, or his personal world. Gradually, respectfully, he allows those worlds to intersect with you. That inclusion is not accidental. It is intentional. Making space also means emotional availability. A man in love does not only give you leftover time after everything else is done, he prioritizes connection. Even in a busy schedule, he ensures there is room for conversation, for shared silence, for moments that deepen intimacy. You do not feel like you are competing with his life, you feel like you are part of it. There is also a subtle shift in how he thinks. Decisions are no longer singular. He begins to ask himself, how will this affect us? Instead of, how will this affect me? This psychological shift is powerful because it signals that you have moved from the periphery to the center. Love transforms individuality into partnership without erasing identity. He still has his own path, but he walks it with awareness of you beside him. Most importantly, you feel secure. You do not constantly question where you stand. When a man makes space for you, confusion fades. You are not chasing reassurance because his actions provide it. He calls when he says he will. He shows up when he promises to. He introduces you with pride, not hesitation. Space is one of the most valuable things a person can offer. Time, energy, attention, these are finite resources. When a man willingly allocates them to you, repeatedly and without resentment, his silence speaks clearly. You are not an interruption in his life, you are someone he is building it around. A man's attention is one of the clearest reflections of where his heart truly rests. In a world filled with distractions, obligations, and endless noise, attention has become a rare currency. When a man is genuinely in love, he spends that currency on you without hesitation. He does not merely hear your words, he listens beneath them. He notices not only what you say, but how you say it. The slight change in your tone, the pause before you admit something vulnerable, the smile that hides a heavy thought. Devotion reveals itself in the details he remembers. He recalls the story about your childhood that you mentioned once in passing. He remembers your favorite song, the way you take your coffee, the date that holds emotional meaning for you. These details may seem small, but they are evidence of presence. Anyone can offer compliments or grand gestures, but not everyone offers focused awareness. When a man pays attention, it means you occupy his inner world even when you are not physically present. His attention also shows in how he responds. He does not dismiss your concerns as trivial or overly emotional. Instead, he engages with them. If something bothers you, he seeks to understand it rather than minimize it. If something excites you, he celebrates it with sincerity. His reactions are not mechanical, they are connected. He wants to know what moves you, what challenges you, what inspires you. Curiosity becomes an act of care. There is a steadiness in his gaze when he looks at you, not possessiveness, not scrutiny, but interest. You feel seen rather than evaluated. In conversation, he does not constantly check his phone or drift away mentally. He is there, fully. That presence communicates respect. It tells you that your words matter, that your experiences are worth absorbing. Attention is also protective. He senses when your energy shifts, when something feels off, even before you articulate it. He asks gentle questions. He leans closer instead of pulling away. This sensitivity is not accidental. It grows from emotional investment. You cannot consistently notice someone unless you care deeply about their inner state. Over time, you realize that his attention is not sporadic. It is consistent. It does not fade once the novelty of attraction settles. It matures, it deepens. And in that steady awareness, you feel valued, because when a man gives you his focused, undivided attention, he is offering more than politeness. He is offering devotion without ever having to say the word. When a man truly loves you, his instinct is not to restrict you, but to safeguard what is sacred within you. There is a profound difference between protection and control, though they can appear similar on the surface. Control seeks ownership. It demands obedience, limits freedom, and disguises insecurity as authority. Protection, however, is rooted in respect. It does not shrink you, it ensures that nothing unjust diminishes you. A man who protects your dignity does not silence your voice, he encourages it. He does not feel threatened by your independence, your intelligence, or your strength. Instead, he admires these qualities and stands beside you as you express them. If others misunderstand you, speak over you, or attempt to belittle you, he does not remain passive. He does not create unnecessary conflict, but he makes it clear through calm firmness that disrespect toward you will not be tolerated. This protection also appears in private moments. He does not mock your vulnerabilities or expose your insecurities to others for entertainment. What you share with him in confidence remains safe. Your fears are not used as leverage in arguments. Your past mistakes are not weaponized. He understands that love requires emotional safety, and emotional safety begins with honoring someone's dignity when they are at their most unguarded. Control often isolates. Protection integrates. A controlling man may try to dictate who you see, what you wear, or how you live, claiming it is for your own good. A protective man, however, trusts your judgment. He may offer guidance, express concern, or share his perspective, but he ultimately respects your autonomy. His desire is not to manage your life, but to ensure you are not harmed by forces that seek to undermine you. You feel the difference in how you respond to him. With control, you feel smaller, anxious, careful not to provoke disapproval. With protection, you feel secure, empowered, and free. You do not walk on eggshells. You walk with confidence, knowing someone values your integrity as much as his own. His strength is not loud or domineering. It is steady. He stands between you and unnecessary harm, yet never stands in the way of your growth. He wants the world to see you clearly and treat you fairly. In doing so, he communicates something profound without uttering dramatic promises. He shows that loving you means honoring you, and honoring you means defending your dignity, not dictating your existence. Passion is often what captures attention in the beginning. It is intense, magnetic, and filled with urgency. It creates sparks, long conversations that stretch into the night, and emotions that feel almost overwhelming. But passion, by its nature, fluctuates. It rises and falls with mood, circumstance, and novelty. Consistency, however, is different. Consistency is quiet. It does not rush in dramatically, yet it remains when the excitement settles. And when a man is truly in love, it is his consistency that reveals the depth of what he feels. A consistent man does not leave you guessing. His words and actions align repeatedly over time. If he says he will call, he calls. If he promises to show up, he shows up. These may seem like simple behaviors, but they build something powerful: trust. Trust is not formed by grand romantic gestures performed once in a while. It is built in the small repeated demonstrations of reliability. Each kept promise becomes a brick in the foundation of emotional security. When challenges arise, his behavior does not dramatically shift. He does not withdraw affection when stressed or become distant when things are inconvenient. Instead, he remains steady. He communicates. He stays engaged. He works through tension rather than escaping it. This steadiness shows emotional maturity. It reveals that his connection to you is not dependent solely on how easy or exciting the relationship feels at any given moment. Consistency also means his care does not fade after the initial pursuit. Some men are attentive only when they are trying to win someone over, but a man in love continues to invest even after he knows he has your heart. His kindness does not decrease, his effort does not diminish. The warmth you felt in the beginning does not disappear, it simply becomes more grounded, more stable. There is peace in this kind of love. You are not riding emotional highs and lows, wondering which version of him you will encounter. Instead, you experience a predictable sense of presence. That predictability is not boring, it is reassuring. It allows you to relax, to open up, to trust more deeply. Over time, passion may soften, but consistency strengthens. And while passion can be intoxicating, consistency is what sustains connection. It is the steady rhythm beneath the intensity, the proof that his feelings are not temporary impulses, but enduring commitment. In that unwavering pattern of care, his love speaks with clarity and strength. When a man truly loves you, he understands that vulnerability is not weakness. It is trust in its purest form. To be vulnerable is to lower the armor you have carefully built over years of experience, disappointment, and growth. It is to reveal the parts of yourself that are uncertain, tender, and unfinished. A man who honors your vulnerability recognizes the courage it takes for you to open that door, and he steps inside gently. He does not rush you to share more than you are ready to give. He does not interrogate your pain or demand access to your deepest fears as proof of intimacy. Instead, he creates an atmosphere where openness feels safe and natural. You speak because you want to, not because you feel pressured. His presence invites honesty. His calm attention reassures you that your emotions will be received with care. When you share your insecurities, he does not dismiss them as dramatic or irrational. He listens without rolling his eyes or minimizing your feelings. Even if he does not fully understand your experience, he respects it. He seeks to understand rather than correct. He does not turn your tears into inconvenience or your doubts into frustration. Instead, he offers steadiness. Honoring vulnerability also means he protects what you reveal. Your confessions do not become ammunition in future arguments. Your fears are not mocked in moments of tension. He does not expose your private struggles to others for sympathy or validation. What you entrust to him remains sacred. This discretion builds a deeper layer of intimacy because you know your inner world is not being mishandled. There is also patience in the way he responds. Healing and growth are not instant processes. If you struggle with trust, past wounds, or moments of self-doubt, he does not grow impatient when progress feels slow. He understands that love is not about demanding perfection, but about supporting evolution. His reassurance is consistent, not exaggerated, but steady enough to help you feel grounded. Over time, you begin to notice something profound. You are no longer afraid to be fully seen. You do not feel the need to perform strength or hide your softer edges. In his presence, authenticity becomes effortless. That freedom is not accidental. It is the result of a man who treats your openness as something valuable rather than exploitable. In honoring your vulnerability, he shows that his love is not just about admiration for your strengths, but reverence for your whole being. When a man truly loves, love does not leave him unchanged. It awakens something within him, a quiet sense of responsibility, a desire to expand beyond who he has been. Growth becomes less about proving himself to the world and more about becoming someone worthy of the connection he values. He does not evolve because he is pressured, criticized, or forced. He grows because love stirs his conscience and calls him forward. You begin to notice subtle shifts. He reflects more, he listens more carefully, he becomes aware of his patterns, especially the ones that could harm the relationship. Instead of defending every flaw, he examines them. Pride softens, ego loosens its grip, not because he has lost his strength, but because he has gained perspective. Love makes him aware that his actions affect more than just himself. Growth in love often appears in discipline. He may take his work more seriously, manage his time more wisely, or pursue goals with renewed focus, not to impress you, but because he wants to build something stable. He understands that love requires a foundation. Emotional maturity, financial responsibility, personal integrity, these are no longer abstract ideals. They become necessary qualities he strives to embody. He also grows emotionally. Perhaps he was once reserved, hesitant to express feelings or confront conflict. Yet with love he learns to communicate, he practices patience, he chooses understanding over withdrawal. When disagreements arise, he does not immediately retreat or react impulsively. He stays present. He works through discomfort instead of escaping it. This willingness to remain engaged is a powerful sign of transformation. Importantly, his growth does not come with resentment. He does not remind you of the changes he has made as if they are sacrifices to be repaid. True growth inspired by love is not transactional, it is voluntary. He recognizes that loving someone deeply means becoming better not only for them, but for himself. The relationship becomes a mirror, revealing both his strengths and his limitations. Over time, you see that love has refined him. He becomes steadier, more self-aware, more intentional, not perfect, but progressing. His evolution is not loud or dramatic, it is consistent and sincere. And in that steady effort to rise into a fuller version of himself, he communicates something profound without speaking it outright. Loving you has made him want to become more than he was before. And so when you ask how a man shows he is in love without saying a single word, do not search for poetry on his lips. Search for patterns in his behavior. Listen not only to what he declares in moments of emotion, but to what he demonstrates in ordinary days. Love that is real does not rely on performance. It reveals itself in presence, in patience, in protection, in growth. You will see it in the space he makes for you, in the attention he gives you, in the dignity he preserves, in the steadiness he maintains, in the care with which he holds your vulnerability, and in the ways he quietly becomes better because you are part of his life. These are not dramatic gestures meant to impress. They're deliberate choices made again and again. Words can be rehearsed, promises can be exaggerated, but consistent action cannot be faked for long. Over time, the truth of his heart will surface through what he does when no one is watching, when there is nothing to gain, when it would be easier to retreat. Real love is not loud. It is intentional. It is disciplined. It is steady. And when a man loves you deeply, you will not have to decode confusion or chase clarity. His life will speak for him, and in that quiet, unwavering language of action, you will realize something powerful. The deepest love is not the one most loudly confessed, but the one most faithfully lived.